Hello, welcome. We're back. Welcome to another episode of EU Creates. Tim Alberg, Associate Director of Affinity Populations here. If I haven't explained it in a few episodes, the Affinity Populations means all the things that help our school be cool, fun, and special. Today, my special guest is Andrew Sobol, our newly minted Associate Professor of the Art Department, who is the Chair of the Art Department. He is the Director of the Graphic Design Program, and I think you're a graphic designer yourself. I have a bunch of his artwork hanging in my office at most of the times because you do all of our work for our theater program as far as posters and programs. So thanks for being here, Andrew. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Awesome. I'm so glad you're here. So we're here to hear a little bit about what our art department has to offer here at Elmhurst University. Mm-hmm. So I'm the arts counselor. We have the theater, we have the digital media, we have the music, and now we got the art. And that's old school art and that's new school graphic design. So tell us a little bit about what are some of the exciting majors in the Elmhurst University art department.
So we have a few. We have the art studio major. And within that, you can practice a few media. You have the painting, the drawing, you have ceramics, printmaking. You may mix any of those. There's also sculpture, let's not forget that. So you have 2D and 3D. Then we have the art business major and graphic design.
Awesome.
We also have 2 minors in art studio and in art history.
So you can get involved in art at kind of any level you kind of want to access it, right?
Absolutely. We welcome anybody who would like to come in and experiment or build on their existing skills or build any new skills.
So one of the things I dig about the art department here is that it's kind of intimate. You know, we're a liberal arts university. We have 70 undergraduate programs and 18 grad programs and all those kinds of things. So not everybody's coming here for the arts, which is why I'm highlighting our wonderful corner of campus and all the cool things that we do. But in yours, I feel like the classes are kind of like 14 to 17. There's kind of an intimacy just right in your studio classes. You get to work with closely with a lot of folks. Can you highlight what some of the faculty are in the program? We've got a bunch of painters over there. What's going on?
Faculty. So we have Dawn Kramlich, who is teaching painting and drawing. And we have...
A super fun human being.
Absolutely. Then we have Joshua Johnson. He's teaching printmaking and foundations.
Also a pretty fun human being.
We also have Dustin Creech, who is now in charge of foundations.
Foundations, is that the title now? Because he's I always think of him as a sculpture guy, but he's like a tinkerer. He does a lot of different things.
He's a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
And at the moment he's teaching our 2D studio, which is like the introductory studio, and our art software course, which is our introductory art software course.
Nice.
A lot of things are happening. The one thing that I think we need to highlight is that all of our faculty are professional working artists.
Yeah.
And all of our faculty are actually making their own art. And they are also exhibiting in shows, whether it be solo shows or group shows. So they're building on their resumes and CVs as working artists. They're also gaining experience that are bringing into the classroom. That is something that is so unique and so amazing to a school of our size, because that individual instruction that we're talking about in small class sizes, you get to really know your faculty and they get to come in and talk to you about the show that they just had.
Yeah.
It's just full of wonder. Because these people make amazing art.
Yeah.
We have Dawn working in multiple media to create her paintings. I think she'd allow me to call them paintings. She's really into talking about how she's using various media and there's no boxes. You can't put me in a box. I'm going to do whatever I want. Josh is more of a traditionalist in terms of the printmaking, but he's also getting out there and using our makerspace, which Dawn is also a big proponent of, and so is Dustin. Our makerspace is full of wonderful things like 3D printers, laser engravers, a giant poster printer, and so many other things that I don't know about because they don't let me in there. No, I'm kidding.
Well, it's not your toy to play in, but there are some really cool things going on in there.
Amazing things.
And again, they're all professionals, so you get to work with professionals. I want to put a pin in that because I have a question at the end we're going to circle back to about the professional art piece. But one question I get a lot from families and parents and students is, well, don't you have a BFA program? And I'm like, yeah, we offer a BFA program. I have my own druthers on what the difference between a BA and a BFA mean, but can you how do you answer that question? Why should a student look at a BFA or not?
I answer that question quite a bit when I'm advising our students or doing open houses or whatever else. Tours, come in for a tour if you really want one, because you do. So a BA is a degree which allows you to experience the studio art, right? And you get to practice a certain amount that the degree requires you to do so. In the studio, you get to take so many courses, and it's outlined in those parameters. And from then on, if you would like to go and study at a graduate level, which many of our artists do, an easier entry to grad school is having a BFA. And a BFA is more of a specialized degree. What that means is that in your BA, you get to practice on a few media of your choice, but in your BFA, you get to really specialize in something and say, you know what, I'm going to be a painter, or I'm going to be a painter and drawer, or I'm going to be a printmaker. Of course, you can mix those up. I'm just hearing Dawn in my head saying, don't put me in a box.
Right.
But you get to specialize. So you get to take additional courses, 4 of them, on top of your BA. So imagine a BA being a bucket, and then the BFA adds 4 additional courses on top of that. And those 4 courses at a 300 and 400 level of studio art, which you get to choose. You can say, I want to do my specialized practice in just painting. Or you can say, I want to do painting and drawing. Or I'm going to do painting, drawing, and sculpture. As long as they are 300-400 level, you get to build your skill, your portfolio, and then that allows you an easier entry to grad school.
Most grad school art programs, and not everything, and nothing is, exactly cut and dried perfectly, but, you're looking at a Master of Fine Arts, an MFA is generally where someone in this kind of world would probably want to go. With a Bachelor of Fine Arts, it's a great sort of that I'm a serious academic artist. That's how I always talk about it. Mm-hmm. So the highlight, though, because Andrew is our graphic designer here, and that's his program. I want to make sure we talk about what I think is probably the most popular program in the art department, our graphic design program. It's very much the way that I want to be a working artist, and I like working on digital art. I feel like that's not necessarily a prerequisite, but kind of a prerequisite, that I like to work with a computer. Tell us about our graphic design program, which also offers a BA and BFA, doesn't it?
We do.
Yeah.
So, and just as I described, you would then get 4 additional courses of extra practice. So our graphic design program is amazing and the best. And there's no competition.
It's just Andrew. All the other schools have nobody. Nobody!
We're just being honest.
Yeah.
So I like to run the program with the mindset that these students will graduate and need to have a job. It's a weird mindset to have.
Yeah.
So what I do
that one.
is the sequence of courses prepares you from the 100 level to the 400 level. You're building on your skills and eventually building your portfolio. Your portfolio is what's going to get you that job. So having a degree, good requirement, and a good thing to have. The second is a good portfolio.
Yeah.
So I'm there because I was on the other side. I was a creative director. I was hiring designers. I was building marketing and design teams. So I know what to look for. I also have colleagues in the field who are doing the same thing. So I have that conversation of what is it that we need out in the industry right now, and I bring it into the classroom. So we're building these portfolios throughout your tenure at Elmhurst. And then you get to graduate with an amazing portfolio and get a job of your liking. So what I mean by that, graphic design spans a whole lot of things. You can be a branding expert, so talking about logos, but that's not branding. Colors, brand voice, imagery, tone, all that kind of stuff. but most people think of it as a logo, but it spans beyond that. Then we're talking
The
about
logo does just what a logo does. It's sort of separate. It represents this larger kind of set of items that signify the brand,
Yes.
the feeling, the vibe, the colors,
Exactly.
everything that you see online or see in the store, if it's a store or whatever. It's an interesting, kind of complicated thing to just nail down.
One way to explain it is that if you think of a brand as a person, what would they be like with their personality? What would they wear? And then we sort of try to wrap it all around, but then the shortcut to that answer is the logo.
Right.
So as
Yeah.
we think of the logo, we think of the brand. So branding experts, we also have packaging. So you're working on package design, surface graphics for various packaging. We have the UX UI component, which is designing apps and websites.
Nice.
We have digital layouts. So we're talking about laying out books, laying out magazines for publication or for the screen.
Yeah, digital consumption.
Exactly. We have just so many things that a student can, again, dabble, or they can find a goal and say, I want to be a package designer when I'm done with this. And some students actually have that as soon as they come in, but most know that by the end, I want to do UX UI. I want to do branding. So then we build your portfolio in every single class that you're in to showcase your skills, and towards the end, we really hone in on the thing that you really want to do. So that way, when you graduate, you go talk to employers and say, yes, I just graduated, here are my projects. I would love to work for you, package design company. Here are my package design projects, and this is what I did, and this is the goal and the strategy, and here's what I came up with. And I answered this in an email the other day, but I would put up many of our student projects against any professional project out there. We have some really talented designers coming in and leaving. They have to leave, which is sad. But they get to go out there and make amazing things. And then we get to see and hear about it.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's just such a fun degree. So the other thing that I tell students is that the field is structured in a really interesting way, because when you graduate, you could start off as a junior designer and then move up the ladder if you choose to. So you can become a designer. You can then, that's the next step, senior designer, an art director, and then a creative director. And then at any point, you can step down.
Nice.
Or remain where you're at. So the field is so cool and so exciting. Like I said, there's so many different things you could do, and there's also so many different positions that you can have after you graduate, but that really depends on your interests.
Yeah.
As an art director, you'll be managing creatives. As a creative director, you'll be mostly managing accounts and designers and art directors and everybody else. So you're becoming more of a business person,
Right.
less of a creative, but hey, if that's what you want to do, that's what you do.
Which moms and dads is why I always tell my students that it isn't stupid to minor in business, or get some basic understandings of those aspects, because this is probably the biggest place that corporate world and art world come together, and having an understanding of that kind of thing. We're running out of time. So, the pin I want to take out of talking about those working professional faculty and everything you just said, what is your best advice for the job thing? Because one thing that, I tell a lot of students, it's important to get a degree, like we said, it's important to have a portfolio, like we said, but just having those things just existing doesn't just get you a job. You still have to do it. You still have to go out and hunt and hustle and present and interview and all those things. So what is your best advice to break into this world?
Well, have an amazing portfolio.
That helps.
Really, because when you apply for, whether it be an internship or a entry-level position or anything, you're going to send in a link to your portfolio, and they're going to look at that first. That's the first thing I looked at. I looked at that first when I was hiring before I looked at a resume. I just wanted to see, what is it that you do? And what I emphasize in our program is process, process, process. I don't want to just see the shiny, beautiful thing at the end of that rainbow that you took. I want to see how you got there. And majority of employers will want to see that as well. So that's one of the things I emphasize in our programs. When you're building a portfolio, show me how you got there. So it's not just that beautiful package you made. I also want to see your research. You researched the competition. You thumbnailed some sketches. You did digital roughs. The portfolio is everything. And as daunting as it is to go out and interview, before you get that interview, they're gonna look at your portfolio.
Yeah.
So then, okay, so let's just say that you took that step, they like your work, now you have to interview. That is daunting, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a conversation. That's what
Yeah.
I tell my students.
Yeah.
They want to know what it is that you do and how you're going to fit here. You're already there. They called you in.
Yeah.
Well, they emailed you most likely, but you're in. So they already think that you're good enough to be there. So now they just want to see how you'll fit. So you're just talking to them. And then you, on the other hand, also want to see, do I want to work here?
Yeah.
Who is this person talking to me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So how do you find jobs? It's the traditional way as you would look for any other job. You're looking at LinkedIn, Glassdoor, but I also encourage our
Indeed.
students, Indeed,
Yeah.
any of those platforms, but I also encourage our students to follow design studios, marketing studios, advertising firms in their neighborhood, in their cities, in the country if they're willing to move. Follow them on social media.
Nice.
Because many of those places will post job opportunities to their followers before they post it anywhere else, or alongside, and then you may be one of the first people that applies.
Yeah, and that's key too.
Yeah. The other, connections.
Yeah, knowing people, networking.
What's funny about creative people is that they like talking about being creative. They also like helping students. So if you reach out to a professional working out there, say, I really love the project that you did, can you tell me more about it? I'm a student. They will talk to you. It's weird, but they will. They'll either set up a Zoom, or they'll email you about it, they'll send you some samples. It's amazing how creatives want to help other creatives. So sitting back and hoping that it'll happen to you is not advisable.
Absolutely.
But getting out there, being proactive is.
That's a perfect place to end this conversation here on EU Creates. Thank you so much, Andrew Sobol. I really appreciate you taking time to join us. Thanks again to our friends in digital media for lending us all this great equipment. And another special shout out to Sarah Glees, another time where she came in and helped troubleshoot some of our tech issues. So we'll see you next time on EU Creates.